everyone. In the last class we were studying about the cell organelles. We studied about the 5 cell organelles that are found in the cytoplasm of a cell. Those are endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, ribosomes, mitochondria and lysosomes. In today's class, let us deal with the remaining cell organelles. So the 6th cell organelle that is present inside the cytoplasm are plastids. Okay, the term plastid was given by Hegel. Okay, term plastid was given by Hegel in 1866. Okay, and plastids are the largest cell organelle. सबभन्दा ठुलो सेल organelle चाहिँ plastids हो. Smallest cell organelle कुन चाहिँ हो? Ribosomes. Okay, but plastids are present only in plant cell. But are present only in plant cells. These are spherical. Plastids are spherical or discoidal in shape. Discoidal in shape and are enclosed by a double membrane. Spherical bhaneko like a football, discoidal bhaneko it is disc shape and it is enclosed by double membrane. Orco organelle which is enclosed by a double membrane kun chai ho? Mitochondria is enclosed by double membrane. So plastids are also enclosed by double membrane. Okay, now inside a plastid, two definite regions, duita regions chai clearly visible huncha. Regions are clearly visible. What are those two regions? Those two regions are grana and stroma. Okay, stroma and grana. So these two regions are visible inside a plastid. Okay, let me show you the diagram of a plastid. Now if you can see, discoidal bhaneko chai yesto shape ko, disc shape ko. Now inside these plastid two definite regions are visible. yahanira thak lageko points jasto thak lageko dekhnu huँदैछ, that is the granum, and next is the stroma. yahanira stroma huncha. So two distinct regions are clearly visible. Granum chai singular ho, grana chai plural. Okay, now what are grana? Grana are membranous, okay, membranous, flattened, membranous, flattened. These are also discoidal sacs. Okay, these are membranous, flattened, discoidal sacs piled over each other. तपाईले देख्नु भयो होला grana चाहिँ थाक लागेको हुन्छ. These are piled over each other. Now they contain chlorophyll. यिनीहरुमा चाहिँ के हुँदै रहेछ? Chlorophyll which synthesize food. Chlorophyll को काम के हो? खाना बनाउँछ. Which synthesize food through the process of photosynthesis. Through the process of photosynthesis. So since grana contain chlorophyll and they photosynthesize, so they are called the kitchen of the cell. They are called kitchen ma khana baniन्छ. So यहाँ पनि grana ma khana बनेको कारणले they are known as the kitchen of the cell. Okay, so यो चाहिँ थियो grana. Now let us talk about stroma. Okay, stroma चाहिँ fluid हो. It is the matrix in which lies the grana. Stroma चाहिँ fluid हो, त्यो माथि चाहिँ grana चाहिँ disc shape को pile भएर बसेको हुन्छ. Okay, so in which lies the grana. Let me show you in that diagram. Okay. So this is the structure of a plastid. So plastid भित्र दुईटा distinct region हुन्छ. This is the grana and this is the stroma. यो मुनि fluid, यो भित्र डल्लै fluid ले भरेको हुन्छ. That is the stroma. This grana are piled over one another and they help in photosynthesis. So they are the kitchen of the cell. Okay. Now plastids. One interesting fact about plastids is that plastids contain their own DNA and ribosomes. Their own DNA and ribosomes. अर्को एउटा cell organelles जसमा DNA र ribosomes हुन्छ. Do you remember which is the cell organelle we studied in the last class? That is mitochondria. You know, so plastids and mitochondria are almost similar. Mitochondria ma double membrane huncha, plastids ma pani double membrane. Mitochondria have their own DNA and ribosomes. Plastids also have their own DNA and ribosomes. Afno DNA, afno ribosomes hunuko फाइदा के छ? Ribosomes, they synthesize protein. So they are protein synthesizing machinery. They have their own, these plastids have their own protein synthesizing machinery. Plus DNA are self-duplicating or self-replicating units. They can make their own copies. Okay, so plastids contain their own DNA and ribosomes. So they have their own protein synthesizing machinery. Okay, protein synthesizing machinery and they are self-duplicating units also. They are also self-replicating units. Okay. Now, depending upon the color of plastids, plastids are of three types. Okay, depending upon the color, plastids are of following types. What are those types of plastids? Okay, following types. First type of plastid is known as chloroplast. Okay, chloroplast. So it contains, these are green colored plastids. Okay, chloroplasts are green colored plastids. So green color bhaneko ke huncha त्यो भित्र chlorophyll, which contain chlorophyll. Okay, the next type of plastids, these are known as leucoplast. Okay, leucoplasts are colorless plastids. Color hunदैन यिनीहरुको. Colorless plastids which store यिनीहरुमा चाहिँ स्टोर मात्रै हुन्छ. के स्टोर हुन्छ? Starch, proteins and lipids. Okay, so these leucoplasts store starch, proteins and lipids. And the third kind of plastids are known as chromoplast. Okay, यसलाई चाहिँ भन्छ chromoplast. Now chromoplasts are colored. कस्तो कलरको हुन्छ? Yellow or reddish colored plastids. Okay, yellow or reddish colored plastids. And where it is found? Which is found in flowers and fruits. Okay, found in flowers and fruits. Flowers, fruits are colored huncha. So त्यो कलर चाहिँ कसले दिँदै रहेछ? Chromoplastले दिन्छ. Now let us study about the function of plastid. Plastid को function काम के रहेछ त? Okay. function of plastid. First function, chloroplasts are photosynthetic organelles. Photosynthetic organelles. Why are they photosynthetic organelles? Because they contain chlorophyll, that is essential for photosynthesis. What do chlorophyll do? Or what do the chloroplasts do? They trap the solar energy, or they absorb the solar energy, okay, solar energy, and then synthesize food for plants. So using that solar energy, food is synthesized. So chloroplasts help in synthesizing food. Next is leucoplasts are used for storing starch, proteins and lipids. Okay, starch, proteins and lipids. Third function is chromoplasts give color to flowers, especially color to flowers. So when flowers are colored, insects are attracted to that colorful flowers, which attract insects for pollination. So this is the structure and function of plastids. Now let us move on to another cell organelle that is present inside the cytoplasm, that is known as the vacuoles. Okay, we vacuoles ko विषयमा पढौं अब. That is which number? 7th cell organelle. 7th cell organelle, that is the vacuole. Okay, now vacuoles are non-living, fluid filled, fluid ले भरिएको हुन्छ. Okay, fluid filled, single membrane bound sacs that are present in the cytoplasm. Membrane bound sacs present in the cytoplasm. Okay, so vacuoles are non living huncha, त्यो भित्र fluid filled भएको हुन्छ, single membrane ले bound गरेको हुन्छ. Plastid जस्तो double membrane हुँदैन. Okay, single membrane bound sacs that are present in the cytoplasm. Now it is smaller in animal cells. Animal cells मा चाहिँ सानो हुन्छ, but more in number. सानो सानो त हुन्छ तर ज्यादा मात्रामा हुन्छ, थुप्रो हुन्छ animal cell मा. In plant cells these are larger but lesser in number. ठुलो त हुन्छ तर मात्रामा कम्ती. Usually एउटा मात्रै हुन्छ. Mature plant cell मा त एउटा मात्रै हुन्छ. Okay, so vacuoles भनेको चाहिँ यस्तो हो. Now in plant cell 90% of the volume is occupied by vacuole. In plant cell 90% of the volume is occupied by vacuole. Okay, occupied by vacuole. So vacuole चाहिँ, since the vacuole is large, 90% भनेको त ठुलो हो नि त, है? Since the vacuole is large and located at the center of the cell. Plant cell को कुरा गरेको, located at the center, the nucleus and other cell organelles are pushed to the periphery. Okay, vacuole चाहिँ ठुलो र सेन्ट्रली लोकेटेड भएको कारणले गर्दा, सेन्टरमा भएको कारणले गर्दा, एकदमै ठुलो भएको कारणले गर्दा प्लान्ट सेलमा चाहिँ न्यूक्लियस अरु सेल अर्गानल्स चाहिँ युजुअली पुश्ड टु द पेरिफेरी. पेरिफेरी भनेको अलिकति साइडमा पुश भएको हुन्छ because of vacuole. Okay, now inside the vacuole there is a fluid. Okay, fluid is present inside the vacuole that is called cell sap. Present inside the vacuole called cell sap. Okay, called cell sap, which contains substances like starch, which contains substances like starch, amino acids, okay, proteins, minerals, and metabolic wastes. So त्यो भित्र चाहिँ थुप्रो सब्स्टेन्सहरु स्टोर हुन्छ, जस्तो प्रोटिन्स हुन्छ, अमाइनो एसिड, स्टार्च हुन्छ, मिनरल्स हुन्छ, मेटाबोलिक वेस्ट्सहरु, वेस्ट that is produced by a cell. So all those are present inside that cell sap of the vacuole. Let me show you the structure of a vacuole. This vacuole looks like this. यो भित्रको स्ट्रक्चर मात्रै ल, यो ग्रे कलरको जुन चाहिँ स्ट्रक्चर छ that is the vacuole. यो बाहिरको त सेल मेम्ब्रेनहरु देखाएको छ, not necessary. This is the structure of vacuole, and inside this vacuole there is the cell sap. Okay, cell sap हुन्छ, अनि त्यो cell sap भित्र चाहिँ various substancesहरु जस्तै amino acids, starch, etc. हुन्छ. Okay, now let us talk about the function of vacuole. Right, function. About the function of vacuole. Okay, it is storage for food, water and other substances. So यो भित्र food बस्छ, water बस्छ, अनि अरु substancesहरु जस्तो proteins, amino acids, starchहरु बस्छ. Okay, next it helps in elimination. It helps in elimination of excess water. It helps in elimination of excess water. Cell water बाहिर eliminate गर्छ, and maintenance of internal pressure. So internal pressure लाई पनि maintain गर्छ. Okay, so this is the function of vacuole. Now यो चाहिँ भयो cell organelles that is present inside the cytoplasm. Now last time we studied that cell has three major parts: cell membrane or the plasma membrane, cytoplasm and its contents. Contents भनेको चाहिँ cell organelles. Now let us move on to the third part of the cell, that is the nucleus. Okay, nucleus. Okay, nucleus, it is the most important and largest part of a cell. Most important and largest part of a cell. अब यहाँ तपाईहरु कन्फ्युज हुनु हुँदैन है. This is not organelle. Okay, organelle होइन यो, किनभने organelle चाहिँ साइटोप्लाज्म भित्र हुन्छ, यो चाहिँ अर्कै हो, न्यूक्लियस हो नि त. ओके, एन्ड इट इज विच इज द लार्जेस्ट पार्ट अफ द सेल भन्यो भने चाहिँ न्यूक्लियस भन्नु पर्यो. विच इज द लार्जेस्ट organelle भन्यो भने चाहिँ प्लास्टिड भन्नु पर्यो. ओके, सो इट इज द लार्जेस्ट पार्ट अफ द सेल. It was discovered by Robert Brown, scientist known as Robert Brown. Discovered by Robert Brown in the year 1930. Sorry, in the year 1831. No, not 19, but in the year 1831. Okay. Now it is the center for all the cellular activities. Cellular activities. Okay, center for cellular activities. Plus it is the carrier of hereditary material. Hereditary material भनेको चाहिँ one generation देखि अर्को generation मा जुन चाहिँ materials ले क्यारेक्टर्सहरु बोकेर लान्छ त्यसलाई चाहिँ hereditary material भनिन्छ अनि that is present inside the nucleus. Okay, and nucleus is densely colored which is embedded in the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm भित्र embed भएको हुन्छ, but it is not a part of cytoplasm. Cytoplasm भित्र गाडिएको मात्रै हुन्छ. Okay, generally the number of nucleus is 1, usually 1 हुन्छ. The number of nucleus in cells is 1. भनेको एउटा सेलमा एउटा मात्रै न्यूक्लियस हुन्छ, but there are certain cells which contain 2 nucleus also and many nucleus also. But there are binucleate and multinucleate cells also. Nucleate cells also. Right? Binucleate भनेको bi means 2, दुईटा न्यूक्लियस भएको या त multinucleate भनेको many nucleus भएको cells पनि हुन्छ. Binucleate cells is the liver cells and the cartilage. Cartilage भनेको यहाँ हाम्रो कानमा कुरकुरे भन्छ नि हामी है, कुरकुरे हड्डी भन्छ. So cartilage. So this contains binucleate. These are binucleate cells भनेको दुईटा न्यूक्लियस हुन्छ. Multinucleate cells are the muscle cells. Okay, muscle cells ma there are many nucleus. Okay. Now, nucleus is absent in prokaryotic cells. Is absent in prokaryotic cells. It is also absent in matured mammalian RBCs. And it is also absent in sieve tube cells in phloem tissues of plants. Plants ma pani ek ठाउँ चाहिँ absent हुन्छ. कहाँनिर भन्दा phloem tissue भित्र चाहिँ sieve tubes भन्ने एउटा component हुन्छ, त्यो भित्र चाहिँ त्यो nucleus हुँदैन. Okay, we'll study more about this phloem tissues and sieve tubes in the next chapter. Okay, so it is generally spherical in shape. Generally spherical भनेको it is like a football, गोलो खालके shape को हुन्छ. Spherical in shape. Okay, now let us talk about the parts of a nucleus. Okay, parts of a nucleus. Nucleus ko chai there are 4 parts of a nucleus. I'll show you the diagram of the nucleus and we'll also study about those parts in detail. Okay, there are 4 parts of a nucleus. Okay, this is the structure of a nucleus, entire nucleus. Nucleus has 4 parts. बाहिरको लेयरलाई चाहिँ हामी भन्छ nuclear membrane. देख्नुभयो यो बाहिरको जुन चाहिँ सराउन्ड गरेको छ, that is the nuclear membrane. This is the first part. The second part is the nucleoplasm. यहाँ भित्र nucleus भित्र fluid जस्तो हुन्छ, that is the nucleoplasm. Third part is the nucleus. यहाँ सानो spherical body देख्नु हुँदैछ inside the nucleus. This is the nucleolus. And the last part is the chromatin threads. Okay, so 4 parts ले चाहिँ nucleus बनिएको हुन्छ. If you observe the nucleus, it is densely colored. बाक्लो कालो कालो खालके कलर को छ. Okay, now let us talk about the 4 parts. As I told you earlier, nucleus, consists of four parts. Okay, the first part is known as the nuclear membrane, or it is also known as the nuclear envelope. Okay. Now if you observe, the nucleus is surrounded by a membrane. So this membrane चाहिँ दुईटा lines छ कि छैन. So it is surrounded by a double membrane of lipoprotein. So nucleus is surrounded on all sides by a double membrane. जसरी माइटोकन्ड्रियामा double membrane ले surround गरेको हुन्छ अनि that double membrane is made up of lipoprotein. Lipoprotein means lipid and protein. So similarly, nucleus is also surrounded by nuclear membrane, which is double membrane and is made up of lipoprotein. Okay. So the double membrane हुन्छ भने inner membrane र outer membrane हुन्छ. The outer membrane is continuous with endoplasmic reticulum and may contain ribosomes attached to its surface. So ribosomes attached भयो भने त्यसको surface मा, that means it can be rough, okay, attached to its surface, but the inner membrane is smooth. Okay, and in the nuclear membrane there are pores. In the nuclear membrane. Pores भनेको दुलो, holes, okay. Pores in the nuclear membrane. These pores are known as nuclear pore, okay, known as nuclear pore. So यो nuclear pore को काम चाहिँ के हो, त्यसले के गर्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ which helps in exchange of materials between the nucleus and cytoplasm. Now, if you look at the structure, I'll just make a small structure because you already know it. Yeah, bairapati, this is the cell membrane. Beechma cytoplasm huncha. Inside the cytoplasm, nucleus is embedded. Now, since nucleus is nucleus ko bairapati cytoplasm cha, so यो जुन चाहिँ this is the nuclear membrane, this is double membrane, lipoprotein ले बनिएको हुन्छ. This nuclear membrane has holes in it. सानो holes हरु हुन्छ. त्यो holes बाट चाहिँ के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ materials, it can enter the nucleus from the cytoplasm or it can go from the nucleus into the cytoplasm. So this nuclear pores helps in the exchange of materials between the nucleus and cytoplasm. If you look at the diagram, यहाँ बीच-बीचमा यस्तो होल्सहरु छ, यहाँ pores छ, यहाँ छ pores, यहाँ छ. So this is known as the nuclear pore. यहाँ देख्नुभयो nuclear pore भनेको छ. So this nuclear pore helps in the exchange of material between the nucleus, यहाँ बाहिरपट्टि cytoplasm हुन्छ, between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. Now let us talk about the next part of the nucleus, that is the nucleoplasm or the nuclear sap. Okay, second part like nucleoplasm, or it is also known as the nuclear sap. Okay. Nucleoplasm or nuclear sap. Now, this nuclear plasm or nuclear sap is enclosed by enclosed by nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane भित्र हुन्छ नि त. Okay, nuclear sap. It is present between the inside the nuclear membrane. Okay, and it is a viscous fluid. Viscous भनेको thick, बाक्लो fluid हो. It is a viscous fluid which contains enzymes. यो भित्र, यो viscous fluid भित्र enzymes हुन्छ, ribosomes हुन्छ, अनि त्यहाँदेखि ribosomes हुन्छ, अनि त्यहाँदेखि हुन्छ nucleus. Okay, it contains nucleus. I'm sorry about this spelling. Nucleus and chromatin threads. So चारटा चीज प्रेजेन्ट हुन्छ है यो के रे न्यूक्लियर सैप भित्र. के रहेछ? एन्जाइम्स, ribosomes, nucleus and chromatin thread. Okay, now let us talk about the third part of the nucleus, that is the nucleolus. Let me show you first the nucleoplasm and the nucleolus. Yeah. So if you look at the diagram, so यो भित्रको fluid जुन चाहिँ छ, that is the this fluid is known as the nucleoplasm. It is over here, nucleoplasm. Fluid is the nucleoplasm, and inside the nucleus you सानो round body देख्नु हुँदैछ, that is the nucleolus. Okay, so nucleoplasm भित्र चाहिँ nucleolus present हुन्छ. Okay, nucleolus is spherical. It is spherical or oval body. Okay, it is spherical. Spherical भनेको गोलो, oval भनेको चाहिँ अन्डा जस्तो. Have you seen eggs? कस्तो चुचुचुचु हुन्छ नि, tapering in the ends. So it is spherical or oval in shape, present in the nucleus. Okay. Now this nucleolus is clearly visible in non-dividing cells. जुन चाहिँ cells चाहिँ divide भएको छैन, त्यस्तोमा चाहिँ we can see it clearly. Okay, but during cell division it disintegrates. भनेको यो भत्किन्छ. Cell division हुँदा चाहिँ यो भत्किन्छ. During cell division it disintegrates. One of the characteristic feature of nucleolus, एउटा एकदमै चिन्ने न्यूक्लियसलाई चिन्ने feature चाहिँ के हो भन्दा, characteristic feature चाहिँ के हो भन्दा चाहिँ nucleolus does not have a limiting membrane. One characteristic feature of nucleolus is the absence of limiting membrane. Limiting membrane भनेको चाहिँ कस्तो membrane भन्दाखेरि बाहिरपट्टिको जुन चाहिँ सराउन्ड गर्छ नि membrane, त्यसलाई चाहिँ limiting membrane भन्छ, which might be semi permeable. जस्तो सेलको बाहिरपट्टि हुने membrane चाहिँ cell membrane हो, that is the limiting membrane. न्यूक्लियस को बाहिरपट्टि हुने चाहिँ nuclear membrane, that is also limiting membrane. तर nucleolus को बाहिरपट्टि there is no such membrane outside the nucleolus. Okay, so it lacks limiting membrane. Okay, now next part of nucleolus is that it consists of DNA. The full form of DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay, DNA RNA ले बनिएको हुन्छ, consist हुन्छ त्यो भित्र, RNA पनि हुन्छ. RNA is ribonucleic acid and proteins. के हुँदो रहेछ त्यो भित्र? DNA, RNA अनि proteins. यो DNA, RNA हरु चाहिँ complex molecules हरु. Okay, now the last part of the nucleus is the chromatin thread. Okay, chromatin thread. Last part of the nucleus is chromatin thread. chromatin. Okay, chromatin threads. Now these are highly intermingled mass of thread like structures. धागो जस्तो, तर यो धागो चाहिँ पुरा intermingle भनेको गाँठो परेको डल्लो परेको जस्तो intermingled threads हुन्छ. Okay, in non-dividing cells it is highly entangled गाँठो परेको हुन्छ non-dividing cells मा. But during cell division this threads will condenses into minute rod-like structures that are known as chromosomes. Okay, rod-like structures called chromosomes. Okay, non-dividing cells मा चाहिँ यस्तो गाँठो परिएको धागो जस्तो मसिनो मज्जाले हेर्नुभयो भने मसिनो धागो जस्तो छ. सो नन डिभाइडिङ सेल्समा चाहिँ गाँठो परिएको जस्तै हुन्छ. तर जब यो डिभाइडिङ हुन्छ त्यति बेला चाहिँ यो चाहिँ इट विल कन्डेन्स इन्टु सर्ट स्ट्रक्चर्स दैट आर नोन एज क्रोमोसोम्स. त्यति बेला डिभाइडिङ हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ यस्तो पाराले सर्ट स्ट्रक्चर्समा कन्डेन्स हुन्छ. ओके, अनि यस्तोलाई चाहिँ हामी भन्छौँ क्रोमोसोम्स. अलराइट, नाउ okay, chromosomes are made up of DNA. अब यो chromosomes चाहिँ अघि भनेको DNA ले बनिएको हुन्छ. Are made up of DNA. अब फेरि DNA भित्र पनि functional segments हुन्छ. Those functional segments of DNA are called genes. Okay, genes ले के गर्छ भन्दा चाहिँ genes carry information for the development of characters and okay, the genes carry information for the development of characters as they help in transmission of characters from one generation to another generation. हेर्नुस् है, कन्फ्युज नहुनुस्. क्रोमोसोम्सहरु चाहिँ यस्तो हुन्छ. जब त्यो सेल डिभिजन हुन्छ त्यति बेला चाहिँ क्रोमोसोम्स यस्तो हुन्छ. यो क्रोमोसोम्सहरु चाहिँ सबै यो भित्र चाहिँ इट इज मेड अप अफ DNA. DNA चाहिँ यस्तो लामो स्ट्रान्ड्स हुन्छ. ओके, दिस DNA लुक्स लाइक दिस, समथिङ लाइक दिस. यस्तो खालके स्ट्रान्ड हुन्छ. यो क्रोमोसोम भित्र चाहिँ यस्तो DNA ले बनिएको हुन्छ. अब यो DNA भित्र पनि कतिवटा ठाउँमा काम लाग्ने टुक्रा हुन्छ. ओके, फंक्शनल सेगमेन्ट्स लाइक दिस. सो दिस फंक्शनल सेगमेन्ट्स आर नोन एज जीन्स. यसलाई चाहिँ भनिन्छ जीन. दिस इज द DNA. सो दिस DNA चाहिँ क्रोमोसोम चाहिँ यस्तो DNA ले बनिएको हुन्छ. अनि यो जीन्सले चाहिँ के गर्दो रहेछ भन्दा चाहिँ जस्तो हामी इफ यु नोटिस वी आर क्वाइट सिमिलर टु आवर पेरेन्ट्स है. हाम्रो पेरेन्ट्स जस्तो हुन्छ. कोही बेला हाम्रो नाक पेरेन्ट्स जस्तो हुन सक्छ, या त फेसको स्ट्रक्चर, या त हेयर, या त कलर अफ द आइज. दैट इज बिकज अफ द जीन्स. यो जीन्सले चाहिँ हाम्रो पेरेन्ट्सबाट चाहिँ क्यारेक्टर्स बोकेर ल्याउँछ र हामीमा त्यो क्यारेक्टर्सलाई के गर्छ, डेभलप गराउँछ. Okay, so such is the genes. So as I told you earlier, chromosomes genes say भित्र चाहिँ DNA भित्र हुन्छ. Genes are present inside the DNA. DNA is present inside the chromosome. Therefore, genes are known as the hereditary units. DNA are known as the hereditary material and chromosomes are the vehicles of hereditary material. So genes are के भन्दो रहेछ तिनीहरुलाई, हेरिडिटरी युनिट्स. ओके, हेरिडिटरी युनिट्स. फेरि DNA लाई हेरिडिटरी मटेरियल. ओके, हेरिडिटरी मटेरियल and chromosomes are known as, and chromosomes are vehicles of hereditary material. Vehicles, गाडी जसले बोकेर ल्याउँछ, vehicles of hereditary material. बुझ्नुभयो? क्रोमोसोम्स कहाँ हुन्छ? इनसाइड द न्यूक्लियस. ओके, न्यूक्लियस भित्र क्रोमोसोम्स हुन्छ. त्यो क्रोमोसोम चाहिँ फेरि डीएनए ले बनिएको हुन्छ. क्रोमोसोम्स चाहिँ डीएनए ले बनिएको हुन्छ. डीएनए भित्र चाहिँ फेरि जिन्स हुन्छ. त्यही कारणले जिन्सले चाहिँ ट्रान्समिट गराउँछ नि त क्यारेक्टर्स फ्रम वान जेनेरेसन टु अनदर. त्यही कारणले यसलाई चाहिँ हेरिडिटरी युनिट्स भनेको. डीएनए लाई चाहिँ हेरिडिटरी मटेरियल अनि क्रोमोसोम्स चाहिँ भेहिकल्स अफ hereditary material. Okay, now let us move on to the function of nucleus. Nucleus को काम के रहेछ? हेरौँ. Function of nucleus. First function is it is the storehouse of genes and is responsible for the development and is responsible for the development of bodily characters. Body को जति पनि characters छ त्यसको लागि चाहिँ genes ले responsible हो for the development of bodily character. It is the center for all the activities of the cell, for all the cellular activities. Okay. Third is it controls cell division. Cell division कहिले हुनु पर्ने, कस्तो पाराले हुनु पर्ने, all these are controlled by the nucleus. Okay. Fourth मा चाहिँ it helps in the formation of ribosomes and RNA. So यसले ribosomes पनि बनाउँछ न्यूक्लियसले, RNA पनि कसले बनाउँछ स्पेसिफिकली भन्दा चाहिँ न्यूक्लियोलसले. ओके, यो जुन चाहिँ स्ट्रक्चर छ स्पेरिकल स्ट्रक्चर इनसाइड द न्यूक्लियस त्यसले चाहिँ राइबोसोम्स र RNA बनाउँछ. र लास्टमा nucleus helps in transmission of characters. Okay, transmission of characters from one generation to the other. Characters from one generation, that means the parent generation. One generation, that is the parent, to the other generation, that is the offsprings. Offspring भनेको नानीहरुमा. Okay, parents देखिनको offsprings मा चाहिँ उसले characteristics बोकेर ल्याउँछ. That is why the offsprings looks similar to the parents. Okay, so this is all about the parts of a cell. Now we've come almost to the end of the chapter. Last subtopic चाहिँ छ, that is the difference between plant cell and animal cell. Okay, now you know that on earth there are two types of living organisms, plants and animals. All the living organisms are made up of cells, and though the structure of the cell is almost similar, but still there are certain differences between plant cell and animal cell. So let us see what are the differences between the plant cell and animal cell. So for your convenience, तपाईलाई सजिलो होस् भनेर चाहिँ I am making a table, okay, for the difference of plant cell and animal cell. Okay, so alright, so this is the table. So here are the features, and this is the animal cell, and this is the plant cell. Okay, now here I have a diagram, एउटा पिक्चर छ. यसमा एनिमल सेल पनि छ, प्लान्ट सेल पनि छ. एकछिन observe गर्नुस् त. Do you see any difference between the plant cell and the animal cell? I think we studied about this in class 8 also. You all have studied about the differences, basic differences between plant cell and animal cell in class 8 also. So okay, spot गर्नु भयो कि भएन? Let us see. Okay, what are the differences between plant cell and animal cell? So first, let us talk about the cell size. First difference is in size. Animal cell are smaller in size. Plant cell भन्दा अलिकति सानो हुन्छ. Okay? Whereas plant cell are comparatively larger in size. Comparatively larger in size. Okay? Next difference is in cell shape. Shape of the cell. Okay? Usually animal cell are oval in shape. Oval in shape huncha. Whereas plant cell are rectangular in shape. Rectangular in shape. Okay? यहाँ तपाईले नक्सामा हेर्नुस् न. Animal cell oval देखाएको छ. Plant cell are rectangular. Rectangle जस्तो. Okay? Third is difference is in case of cell wall. Okay? In animal cell wall is absent. But in plant cell wall is present. Hey, नक्सामा हेर्नुस् न. है यहाँ नक्सामा हेर्नुस्. Plant cell को बाहिरपट्टि देख्नुहुँदैछ डबल दुईटा लाइन छ नि. First the outer membrane is the cell wall and the inner membrane is the cell membrane. तर animal cell मा एउटा मात्रै line छ. That means it is made up of only cell membrane. Only one membrane हुन्छ यहाँ. Okay? Fourth मा आउँछ vacuoles. Okay? Vacuoles. So अघि पनि vacuoles पढ्दा डिस्कस गरेको छ. If vacuoles are present in animal cell, these are smaller in size and many smaller and many in number and scattered. अनि छरिएको हुन्छ. Okay? But in a mature plant cell, the vacuole is only single vacuole is present. In a mature plant cell, single vacuole is present which is centrally located. Vacuole is present which is centrally located. बीचमा हुन्छ mature plant cell मा ठूलो एउटा हुन्छ अनि बीचमा हुन्छ. Okay? So here in the diagram यहाँ तपाईले देख्नुहुँदै होला. यहाँ animal cell मा मसिनो blue color को structures देख्नुहुँदैछ. यहाँनिर थुप्रो blue color को structures छ. This is the vacuole. So vacuoles are small and many in number. Animal cell मा त हेर्नुस् त एउटा ठूलो large vacuole छ. Okay? Now next difference is the plastids. Plastids. It is absent. Plastids are absent in plant cell except euglena. There is one, except in animal cell. No, sorry, I'm really sorry. Plastids are absent in animal cell. Animal cell ma plastid hunदैन. तर there is one animal that contains plastid, that is euglena. Euglena मा चाहिँ plastid हुन्छ. So euglena ले आफै photosynthesis गर्नु सक्छ. Euglena बाहेक अरु animals ले photosynthesis गर्नु सक्दैन. Whereas plastids are present in the cytoplasm. Okay? Present in cytoplasm. Next difference is on about Golgi bodies. Golgi complex. Okay? Highly elaborate, एकदमै complex खालके Golgi complex is present near the nucleus. Golgi complex is present कहाँनिर हुँदो रहेछ? Near the nucleus. Near the nucleus. But in plants, simple, okay, simple Golgi complex are present. Simpler units of Golgi complex. Simpler units of Golgi complex. Those are known as dictyosomes. Okay, called dictyosomes are scattered. Dictyosomes are scattered. Okay. Next difference is in the stored food. Stored food. Food is stored in the form of glycogen in animal cell. Food is stored in the form of glycogen. Glycogen को रूपमा store हुन्छ animal cell मा, but in plant cell food is stored in the form of starch. Okay, in the form of starch. Starch को रूपमा store हुन्छ. Last ma, eighth difference is in terms of nucleus. Eighth difference is in terms of nucleus. Okay, nucleus चाहिँ के छ यहाँनिर भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ nucleus is present at the center. Animal cell मा चाहिँ बीचमा हुन्छ nucleus. But in plant cells, since the vacuole is large, the nucleus is pushed to the periphery. Nucleus is pushed to the periphery. Side ma push bhako huncha. So these are the 8 differences between plant cell and animal cell. Understand? Nucleus बीचमा हुन्छ. यहाँनिर चाहिँ vacuole ले गर्दा अलिकति तल push भएको हुन्छ towards the periphery. I hope you are clear with the differences between plant and animal cell. र यो सँगसँगै we have completed the chapter, the fundamental unit of life. See you next time.